Hey guys, it's David with Ultimate Survival Tips, and I snuck away for the weekend to come down to Nature Reliance School and hang out with my friends and my friend Craig. Craig, thanks for inviting me down, bro.
Absolutely. Glad you're here.
And so we're here for what? Tell me.
Advanced survival.
Okay.
Basically, everybody that has gone through our basic survival class gets an opportunity to come to advanced survival and try to extend their skills out. We give our students an opportunity to come out, and we always schedule it at the time of year where they're going to be stressed a little bit more than they are during basic.
Nice.
And so we always do it somewhere around the beginning of December because it's either going to be cold and snowy or it's going to be wet. And so we've got beautiful conditions for that this weekend. It's raining right now. It's going to be raining for about 3 days, so we got perfect conditions for that to happen.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that there's a basic course too, so you do several different types of training?
We do a basic survival class, and the people that come to advanced are one of two people. They are somebody that's graduated from basic survival class, or they've had some other training somewhere else, and that's your case. So basically what we do in basic is it's a camping trip studying survival. It's not real hardcore. We get all the basics and build a foundation there, and then in this class they actually go out and put their skills to use. We also do a lot of land navigation. We do some scout tracking, which is camouflaging and learning how to track both humans and four-legged animals. And we do some.
And those are separate classes.
Oh, these are all separate
this weekend.
Yeah, totally separate from what we're doing this weekend.
But I know I brought a compass. You said to bring a compass. So we're going to do some land navigation, right?
Yes, we are. In our opinion, the best survival skills is never having the need to use them.
Yep.
And one of the best ways to do that is to have really good map and compass skills. And so we do everything we can to offer a specific class, and Tracy Trimble teaches it on land navigation, but we also try to integrate land nav, map and compass skills in basically every class that we do. Because if you have that, then you don't get lost in a wilderness setup and you don't need the skills.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about what the expectation is for this weekend. And I do know that there was one specific requirement as far as what and how much gear we can bring.
Well, there's the main thing that we're trying to get in an advanced survival class is that we want to teach people how to think. And that's not easy to teach people how to think because there's going to be a range of people that are here. But the first thing we did is we told everybody it's 25 pounds or less. And what that forces people to do is really seriously consider their gear in such a way that, should I take this, should I take that? And they keep weighing their gear, and they're emailing me. And this is what gets people when they email me or call me or text me. Yeah, exactly. And they say, can I do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Should you do that? And in this class, I force them to basically throw something out. In essence, you can either throw out some food or you can throw out some sleeping gear. And so that forces people to really consider what it is they're going to bring.
Yeah, it was a challenge, especially this time of the year when you're so iffy as far as temperature, because your sleeping gear, volume-wise and weight-wise, it takes up the majority of that 25 pounds.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Kentucky is that there could be a 30 or 40 degree swing this week versus next week. And so, if it was snowy and cold, you better have some really good warm weather gear or cold weather gear to keep you warm.
Yep.
But in this condition here, you better have really good rain repellent, rain waterproof gear.
So I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot some video, and maybe I can get some of the guys to shoot video while we're doing
absolutely.
stuff
I hope
this
you do.
weekend.
Hope you do.
And maybe put together a montage of what's going on.
If you make it out alive.
If I make it out alive, we'll see. We'll see. But I've got my gear over here in my pack. So
we going to weigh it? You bold enough to do that?
I'm a little scared, but I think I'm under. And that's wet weight, too. I got wet weight here.
You got water in the bag.
I got water in the bag already.
Let's weigh that puppy and
All
see
right,
what we got.
Let's go do it.
All right.
All right, man. All right, so here we are. This is
the moment of truth.
I really don't want to unpack my bag.
We'll see. Throw it up there?
Okay, yeah, throw it up there. Let's see what we got.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da.
22 pounds. You got 3 pounds to spare.
Sweet!
That's good.
Can I put my tent in there?
You can put more stuff in there, too.
MREs.
There you go. As long as it's 3 pounds or less, you're good to go.
All right. Stay tuned until the end for the bonus video showing what I packed for this training. Now, since I arrived at the training early, I had time to scout out the area and find a good spot to set up my shelter. Found an east-facing hill just the other side of a ridge to block the wind, and under a large cedar tree to help block the rain. After all the others arrived and set up their shelters, Craig broke us into teams and covered camp rules, safety basics, critical thinking, survival mindset, team building skills, and a ton of other great material. Then Craig and his assistant instructor Tracy taught students some of the most helpful nuts for survival and outdoor living, followed by some very helpful training on how to process wild game. Later, Dr. Don, one of the students, did a really informative bonus session on survival dentistry and holistic health. And last but not least, Craig covered the basics of fire generation and got everyone started making a bow drill kit. In the morning, everyone packed up their camps and met for morning activities. After a review of lessons learned from sleeping out in sub-40-degree temperatures and a driving rain, our teams competed in a land navigation exercise. Then all the teams got together using topo maps to pick a central area to camp, which happened to end up being the area that I scouted out and camped the night before. Since teamwork under stress is such a vital survival skill, throughout the training, Craig pushed us to work together as teams, even to the detail of selecting the best route to take as a group to get to our next camp location. Once there, I showed my group the cool little spot where I bivvied the night before, and they decided that it was a good spot for our team to set up our camp. Now, there was a lot of time and freedom to work together as a group, but at every step, Craig was close by to provide helpful instruction, giving us plenty of opportunity to think through what if and what's next scenarios. After setting up and establishing camp, more time was given to making a bow drill kit, followed by several hours of instruction on hunting and processing larger game. Then in the evening came the time everyone was waiting for, using their bow drill kits to try and make fire. I was honestly pretty surprised at how many students were able to get fire considering how wet it was, which is a testimony to Craig and his team's great instructional methods.
There you go. That's the smoke we're looking for right there.
There you go.
Don't give up. Keep blowing for me. Keep blowing for me.
At the close of the evening, it was approaching freezing as we got to our campsite, so we were happy that we spent the time preparing a great fire and collecting a boatload of wood earlier in the day. Around the fire, we shared stories until exhaustion got the best of us all. It was a long but good day. Now at daybreak, it was below freezing, so I wasn't surprised when I woke up to find that my new friends Rich and Mato had given up a poncho shelter and a hammock for more comfortable sleeping on the ground next to the fire. And I'm pretty sure it was the first time that Rich had ever done that, which is cool. Now my experimental sleeping system worked out fine and I got a real good night's sleep, all things considered. We broke camp and all gathered to discuss the lessons we learned from the previous day in a very cold night.
My Reflectix wasn't like that as good of an insulation for weather like this, so I woke up like shaking and I had to pee, and I was just like, I'm gonna just tough it out. I tore open a body warmer, just shook it up and just laid it on me and rubbed all over, and it wasn't helping, so I finally just got dressed and went out, and we had a tarp set up so for the wind, and I just took that down and made it to a small shelter and took my insulation out on the ground and started with the fire and just sat there all night. It's fine.
After that, Craig invited me to talk about the compact sleep system I was testing, followed by Tracy and Craig teaching on traps and snares. Then teams ventured out to identify a good area to practice what they just learned. And as always, Craig wasn't far behind to provide instruction and observations.
All right, so here's why I feel like you have a good location here. Number one, we as humans get conditioned to walking down the trail, and we think that other animals walk that way too, and they just don't do that out here. An animal is going to walk just below the crest of any sort of rise because they get more cover in that position. So the other reasoning I like this is, number one, think of it the way we've been looking at survival. Animals, we are animals. Humans are animals. Animals that live out here all the time have the same needs that you do. They need shelter, water, and food. So you've got a lot of cover here. If something needed to get cover and concealment for its protection, you've got water, and particularly right here, you've got a large red oak tree, a large white oak tree. You've got beech trees that are all around here. You've got a nesting cavity in the top of that white oak tree. So there's all kinds of sign right here that is going to be good indicators. if you didn't, I would recommend putting a trap on that log right there.
We did.
Okay, good. Real good. Awesome.
Rich did.
So that's a squirrel superhighway right there.
Following this, the students went on a woods walk with Craig as he gave practical instruction on tracking, hunting, wild edibles, water and water purification, land navigation, and a host of other survival and outdoor skills. After this, students received instruction on survival firearm selection, followed by Craig reviewing the entire weekend in his interactive, very helpful Q&A format, covering the skills and lessons learned. And after everyone headed out, Craig and I wrapped things up with this interview. Tell us what you thought. How'd we do?
I thought everybody did fantastic. We had some really bad weather conditions where it rained for basically 2 solid days.
I can't tell by this.
Yeah, today was a
we were blessed
fantastic.
with some sunshine.
It was fantastic end. I love ending like this too. But we threw a lot of hard conditions. Nature gave us some really good hard conditions to deal with, rain, and it was not excessively cold, but cold enough that we could have some serious hypothermia conditions if people didn't take care of their needs. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, we tested some cool gear out.
Yeah, there was all number of different people here, from people that had probably never been out in conditions like that to some advanced personnel too that were really used to being out in those conditions. So there were some people that got a little wet and learned some lessons the hard way, and some people that stayed dry and warm the entire time, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you were one of those. David did really good. You should keep watching David because he did a fantastic job this weekend.
Thanks, man.
Stayed dry, stayed warm, had good conditions. We actually asked him to lead a section of the class, asked him to lead, and did a really good job. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, I learned a lot. This was excellent. This was excellent. I can wholeheartedly endorse you guys coming out to Nature Reliance School.
Well, thank you for that. Appreciate
maybe
that.
We'll do something together in the future. What do you think of that?
That sounds awesome. I'll be there.
Yeah. So tell the guys a little bit about how they can connect with you. Maybe I know you do some YouTube stuff.
We do.
And just tell them how
So
to connect.
we've got 2 YouTube channels. Dan's Depot, dansdepot.com. I have a written blog there that I do basically on a daily basis. And we have a YouTube channel for Dan's Depot as well. And then obviously our own Nature Reliance School channel. We do most of our YouTube work over on Dan's Depot, and we have some on Nature Reliance School. Our website is naturereliance.org.
Okay.
We have a blog there that we do some activity on, but again, most of my activities over on Dan's Depot. So you can connect through our website. You can see all the links to the Dan's Depot channels, YouTubes, all that stuff right there on the Nature Reliance website. It's got our calendar of events on it. It's real easy to get on there, register for a class, and come.
Well, man, I really enjoyed it. I am so glad you invited me out.
Yeah, I'm glad you came.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very much a pleasure. Thanks, Dave.
Click the link on your screen to check out the bonus video where I'll show you what I packed for this training. Or for links to all the websites and gear mentioned in this video, check the video description on YouTube. Just click the Show More tab under this video. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, and survival news, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. And while you're there, grab our monthly survival e-mag, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get the latest news and be the first to hear about the great gear giveaway contests we have planned. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.